All right, today we're jumping into a really charming little romantic comedy. It's a great story about second chances. You know, old flames. But it's also about something deeper. It really gets into how our memories and our fantasies can get all tangled up.
So, let me just ask you this. Imagine your biggest crush from way back when just walks back into your life out of the blue. What do? Because that is the exact setup at the heart of this play, and it all revolves around our two main characters, Noah and Natalie.
And these two could not be living more different lives. I mean, you've got Noah, who's this big-shot stand-up comedian. His life is all airports and hotels, constantly on the move. And then there's Natalie. She's back in their hometown, running a bakery, raising two kids, and she's trying to figure out life after a divorce. His world is nonstop, and hers is, well, it's totally grounded in real life.
So the whole story kicks off in the perfect rom-com setting, right? It's Natalie's cute little bakery, and they're hosting a comedy night. She's running around, super busy, when this surprise performer shows up, and her entire world is about to get flipped upside down.
And boom, with that one line, Noah just drops them right back into their shared past. You can immediately feel that history, that easy chemistry that just screams, we go way, way back. You know, right away, this is not some random chance meeting.
But they don't just hang out in the past for long. They pretty quickly shift from talking about the old days to the reality of who they are now. They're basically trying to connect the dots across all the years they've been apart.
And you have to understand, the timing here is just everything. Natalie's dealing with a divorce, so her world is kind of shaky and uncertain. Meanwhile, Noah admits that his glamorous life on the road is actually just exhausting and incredibly lonely. They're both at this major turning point, which of course makes them really open to reconnecting.
So then Noah gets up on stage and does something pretty gutsy. Right in the middle of his comedy set, in front of this whole crowd, he starts telling stories about them. He basically tells everyone in the room that she was his original #1 fan.
And look, this is so much more than just a sweet little shout-out, right? He's taking this private memory that only they share, and he's making it public. He's letting everyone know that their connection is a big deal, that she was a huge part of his story.
So how does Natalie react to all this? Well, she is totally charmed, but she comes back at him with this super witty, playful line. She's not just sitting there blushing, she's right there with him, playing along and matching his energy perfectly.
Okay, so the show's over, the crowd leaves, the bakery doors are locked, and the whole vibe shifts. The public performance is done, and things get a lot more intimate. Natalie breaks out some whiskey, and that fun, lighthearted banter starts to turn into something way deeper.
And this is where they really start opening up. Natalie admits something so touching that even after they lost contact, she was always rooting for him. She says she watched all his specials, keeping that connection going all on her own.
And then Noah hits her back with something just as big. He tells her that the memory of her is what got him through his toughest years on the road. It was her face he imagined in the crowd when he was bombing. And that's this huge moment where they both realize they've been carrying around a piece of each other for years.
And this is the heart of the story, isn't it? For all this time, they've both been holding on to this kind of idealized, nostalgic version of the other person, a fantasy that helped them get through rough patches, and neither of them had any idea the feeling was mutual. So all these confessions are out in the open, years of unspoken feelings are just bubbling up to the surface, and you can just feel it, right? The whole story has been building and building to this one single moment.
And Noah just lays it all out there. No more jokes, no more holding back. It's direct, it's passionate, and he's basically saying this, kissing you, this exact moment has been playing on a loop in my head on lonely nights for years.
And the kiss itself is described as this electric collision. I mean, it's just this explosion of all that pent-up longing and nostalgia and history finally coming together in one perfect, passionate moment.
But of course, because this is a rom-com, you can't have a perfect moment last too long, can you? Right as things are getting good, they get hit with this perfect storm of interruptions. First the kiss, then crack, a huge thunderstorm rolls in. And then poof, the power goes out. It's almost comical how perfectly dramatic it all is.
All of this chaos is setting us up for the play's final, pretty shocking twist. It's one of those endings that makes you go back and question every single thing you just saw. So get the picture. It's pitch black, they're laughing off the power outage, the storm is raging outside, and Noah pulls her back in for another kiss. It really feels like, okay, despite all the interruptions, their big romantic moment is finally going to happen. And then Natalie says something just super weird. It's
completely out of place. The line is so random and disconnected from the passionate vibe of the scene, it just doesn't make any sense.
And then comes the big reveal. The lights flicker on, and we see Natalie, all alone, kind of waking up. It looks like the whole thing, the reunion, the confession, the kiss, it might have all just been happening inside her head.
And that is exactly where the play leaves us. It just hangs there with this huge question. Was any of that real? Was it a hopeful fantasy? Or was it just a memory getting twisted into what she wished would happen? We never get a clear answer, which really makes you think, doesn't it? About the stories we tell ourselves, and how sometimes the line between memory and fantasy is blurrier than we think.